Hello everybody, my name is Riccardo and I decided to do this video just to show you how I basically repair my modulator from a BMW R 1150 RS. I'm not suggesting you to touch this kind of unit, but just to let you know what I did. So I repair one of those, and I'm referring to this video to the error defective motor. So you get this error, you know what's happened. So basically one of the electric motor is not working anymore. So in front of rear brake, you do not have anymore the, let's say, the amplification of the power, braking power. And you get this message. If you read with diagnosis, you get defective motor. What does it mean, first of all, defective motor? So basically, defective motor means that the motor is not eventually completely gone, but is not working properly. So this motor do not have, our DC motor, do not have any kind of let's say speed sensor, position sensor. The only connection between the electronic and the motors are the two contact, plus and minus. So the only thing that the electronic can do during the operation is to measure the current flow in the motor. If the current is in the right expected range, everything is fine. If the current is too low, too high, the electronic unit, understand that the motor something is wrong, and for safety, disable the motor and communicate this to the cockpit, and you do not have the this amplification, this assistance anymore. I also use the bike during when the error was present, or better to say, when the error was coming, sometime yes, sometime not. And I realized that the error is always coming out when I was driving very slowly, maybe 10, 20 kilometers per hour per hour. Anyway, I repaired this because I opened the unit. I'm not going to show you how to open. I found a great video in internet. You will find also. You have to remove a couple of screws. First from this part, then 4 screw inside, and this is going away. Then you open here, then you have the screw on the motor, and so on. Anyway, I removed the motor. Why the motor was damaged, was not working well in my case? Because this is a DC motor. By working, the brushes are basically going a little bit kaput. You create a kind of sand, so a kind of small particle. They're going inside the motor, and this particle can only create issues because they can eventually break the motor a little bit, or maybe they create some short. Anyway, it's not good. So what I did in my case was relatively easy. Open the motor, clean the motor. You can clean the motor inside simply with air compressor, or also with the ultrasonic washing machine. Then the motor was going fine. So only to tell you that the motor is inside is dry. So BMW recommend to change the oil. The oil has nothing to do with the motor. Even if you change the oil every day, this problem in the DC motor will stay there. Okay. So at the end of the story, what I want to tell you, I repair the motor in this way, but what I'm doing, not suggesting you to do, but what I'm doing, every 2 years basically I dismount the unit and I clean the motor to avoid the problem I just told you. Now, there is one other possible issue on the motor. The motor is driving oil pump. So here inside this one there is an oil pump here. Now, if for whatever reason the oil pump is getting stuck, so it cannot move anymore, the same happens if you take a DC motor, you block with hand, you don't let the motor turn anymore. This is a really bad thing for a DC motor, because without going too much in detail, if the motor is not turning, the current flow in the motor increase very fast till when you can burn the motor. The current increase to a level much higher than the normal range. To give you an idea, this motor with the pump is without oil. If I remove the motor, I run the motor 12 volt, it consumes around 4 ampere, more or less. If you block, the current can increase much more, and you can burn the motor. If something like that happens, then it's not enough anymore to clean. You need a more, so the motor is basically kaput. You have to build again the connection, the wiring. It's a bit more complicated. And what I want to tell you is, how can you avoid that this is going to happen, so the pump is blocked? I tell you because one of the units that I bought, used and also damaged, I got in one of these exactly this problem. So the oil pump was stuck. I cleaned the the oil pump here. Then the motor could run, but I could hear that it was running not good because it consumed a lot of current and so on. So it was really damaged the motor. What you can do to avoid this? Unfortunately, to change the oil is good, but it's not enough, because when you change the oil, you use the motor to pull out the oil from here, from the two front and rear. So this is the rear, in my case the front. But when some air is getting inside, when the oil here is getting very low, it's not pumping anymore. So even if you follow the procedure, can be also some quantity of oil here, some dirty here in this place, will stay there and will block your pump. So what I'm doing in this case, when I dismount this every 2 years, I dismount everything. I remove also these two, this one and the other one, these two. I remove also this one, I remove everything. These are screw going to the bottom when you get the oil from here. There is also a filter. I clean the filter. I clean also the area here, and I make sure this is really clean. The pump also you need to clean a bit. It's not easy, but you can clean. You can check at least and clean on the bottom here. Then when here is clean, I would say there is no anymore the possibility that the motor is getting stuck, and you are more safe. Unfortunately, as I said, even if you change the oil every day, the issue that you can get here can always happen, because you are not able really to remove all oil. To remove all oil, you have to open and clean inside. Okay, so if the pump is getting stuck, the error is, the problem is much more serious, because the motor can burn. Now, unfortunately, this is not the only one thing can happen if the pump is stuck. The motor can burn. Yes, it's happened to me. I have one motor burned. But it's not all, because this extremely high current going in the motor is coming from the electronic. And the electronic, there is an activation FET, low side FET. If you switch on the brake, the low side FET is activated, and the current is going through from the plus to the motor, plus the battery to the motor, and then through this activation FET to ground. Also, the activation FET can burn, because also the activation FET is stressed, is getting a current much higher than expected. And so I'm not sure, but there is a high probability that all case that you get an activation FET burned, most probably is because the motor for some reason was stuck. And so at the end of the story, I'm at the end of this video, just to tell you that what I'm doing to preserve the functionality, even if the unit is working well. So even if you have a unit that is working well without any issue, and this one of them, this unit I bought used, working, and it was working pretty well. After a couple of years, I cleaned the motor, was a bit dirty, I clean everything here, and now I can mount, should be fine. So every 2 years, basically, what I'm doing is clean the motor and clean this part on bottom and remove this and clean also this one. The input part here, you can also clean this one, but they are less critical. This part, in my opinion, is less critical. What is very critical here, the part here, where the motor is moving the oil, and if there is a problem here, can be difficult. Okay, I hope that this maybe help someone that got the same issue. And thank you very much for watching. Ciao.